Nope.
There's something in the bayou. Sounds normal, maybe, but it isn't something natural. This ain't no gator I'm talking about. It's something else. Something worse. It started when I was fishing off the dock of my house in the bayou of Louisiana. I managed to hook some kind of bottle wrapped in leather with an old letter inside. I scanned the letter, so here it is, word for word, spelling mistakes and all. I think the swamp is watching me. Sounds odd, don't it? I thought the same thing when my life was normal. But things ain't been normal for 3 years now. Hell, I'm having some big-ass creature write this for me. Fact of the matter being, I ain't learned how to write. Hey, Sleepy, maybe cross that out. I should have started with some context. Are you writing what I just said down too? Guess there ain't no brains in that big skull of yours. Whatever. I'll go with it. Context. Oh yeah. From what I recall, it's 1904. Something round that. Word went round that some type of hell went down in the swamp. I've been fishing in all my life, so nothing really changed for me. Swamp got a little more scary, but there's always been gators. Thought if I could just deal with them scaly bastards, I could deal with just about any damn thing that crawled onto my porch. Guess I was wrong. Used to live in this fishing village off the edge of New Orleans. Don't know if that place would still exist by the time someone gets their hands on this letter, but it don't really matter to me. Long as I can tell my story. Anyway, I'm sitting in my shack like usual when some strange folk knock on my door about midnight. Group of 3 men and a woman. They kinda look mean, and I can see one of them wearing a prison shirt, but I just go with it. No point causing trouble where it ain't needed. I give him the usual spiel. Got him some fishing rods and took him out back to my little rowboat. They seemed pretty nice once I got to know them. Odd group though. There was this kind of chubby fella. Smelled kind of like sweat and grease. A hunter, his big dumb son, and some kind of posh woman. The hunter and I got along right away. Took a while to warm up to the rest of the group though. Everything went pretty well. We all caught some pretty good fish, and they seemed satisfied. It was peaceful, even. The night air was warm and a little sticky, kind of being in a swamp, and the fireflies seemed to almost create a little path for us to follow between the trees. Didn't sound like anything was out there either. All the frogs were croaking, and all the bugs making their noises. Everything felt just right, so I figured I might as well go check my lobster traps. We rode back to the house, and I picked up a few of the lobster traps, one full, one empty. But the final one would not budge. That thing was stuck deep in the mud or something, so I had the big one come over and give me a hand. We yanked on that piece of wood for a good minute before it came flying out, throwing us back onto the boat and almost capsizing the whole damn thing. So, we looked at this cage to see what the hell was keeping it down there, and we see that there's a human arm on it, all covered in leeches, and some of the biggest centipedes I ever seen. Looked like it'd been torn from the shoulder too. Then we felt it. Something bumped the bottom of our boat. Maybe we shouldn't have pulled that thing so hard. About 5 feet away from our boat, this thing broke the surface of the water. Looked like some kind of rock, but as it emerged, it was quite obviously a skull. Everything went dead quiet. The only sounds were the ripples in the water splashing against the trees. Then, this thing gets out up to its midsection. Looks like some kind of human, probably dead in the bayou for years. All rotted, covered in grime, dirt, leeches, algae. If you can think of some nasty shit in the water, it was probably on this sumbitch. Anyway, that old mouth of his opens up and makes the worst sounding screech I ever heard, rattling my insides and made my whole body tense up. The others acted quickly, but all they did was throw his severed arm back in. That seemed to please him, at least that's what I thought, 'cause he dropped back into the water like a stone. So we head back, take some drinks to forget all of that, and I send them on their way come morning. Next night, I heard this noise. Sounded kind of like a cat getting its throat torn out or some shit. Wakes me up, scares the hell out of me, but that don't matter. Now, I ain't got no gun. Never found use for one. But right then, I wish I had one. I go out in the back to see what the hell could have made that sound, but there ain't nothing there. My lantern light didn't show anything in the water, nothing in the trees either. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching me. I eventually went back to bed. The next night rolls around and same thing, but this time it's closer. I go out. Same shit as before. Nothing. Still feel like I'm being watched though. Next 4 nights, the damn thing got closer and closer, and I still did not see a single thing. Night 4, it was right next to my dock. I did not have the humor to go outside and look for it on that night. Instead, I boarded up my doors and hoped to hell I was just imagining things. Next day, I went outside. Couldn't shake the feeling I was being watched. I looked on my dock and saw a trail of sludge, like something nasty had been pulling itself up and dragged itself toward my shack. I was about to go inside when I heard something whiff past me, like someone had thrown a boulder right past my back like a ball. I looked over to see this massive beast looking down at me. He was emaciated, covered in matted black fur and moss, and had the skull of a deer as its head. I almost fainted on the spot, but he started speaking to me. Told me his name was Sleepy, and he was something called a Wendigo. Said he don't eat humans no more. Got tired of the taste. Said the fellas I had been taking out fishing earlier found him sleeping in the woods and befriended him. Told him to keep me company. Guess he ain't lying about eating me, as he's helping me write this shit down right now. But last night, whatever that thing outside is, got to the house. Sleepy was out hunting, so I was alone by myself. Got woken up by that dying cat noise, this time right next to my wall. Something started tearing at the wood, and that damn thing managed to rip a board off. Couldn't get a good look at him, only saw the bastard's rotten arm sticking through the hole. Then I see his arm get yanked back out, and I hear something get torn in half out there, and another scream. Sleepy came back, thank God, and split that bitch down the middle. But I know that was not the end. I only fear the day that Sleepy ain't here to protect me. So, if you're reading this, stay the hell out of the bayou. You feel like something is watching you. You run. Please listen to what I'm saying. It may save your life. God knows it did not save mine. Farewell. Signed, Douglas Carlson. I had considered sharing this story earlier, as I love the art of storytelling, especially old classic American horror. But now I'm sharing this out of fear. Douglas was not lying. I went out on my motorboat a few days ago, hoping maybe I could find the ruins of his old shack, as I live pretty close to his village. I did end up finding it eventually. It was on the edge of the village, rotted, covered in greenery and sunken into the water. I didn't go inside for fear of accidentally stepping on the wrong board or collapsing the place on top of my head. But it was nice to know the author of this letter I found did in fact exist in the past. It made me feel special for having a unique part of history in my house. As I was leaving, the sounds of the swamp around me suddenly went silent. Other than the water, of course. And that's when I heard it. A sound like a cat being torn apart. A few at the same time even, echoing through the trees around me. I thought maybe it was some kind of bird, some weird animal that lives specifically in that area, but I wasn't about to find out. So I pulled on my motor string and guided my boat back as the propeller spun to life. 2 nights ago, I heard it at my dock. I didn't want to go out there and check. I just pulled my covers over my head and hoped whatever it was would just leave. The next day I went out there. I saw this torn, rotten human arm attached to one of those posts on the dock, clinging with an iron grip. The sight of it almost made me throw up, and I hunched down to try and soothe my nerve. Taking my eyes off of it, though, was a mistake, because when I looked back up, it was gone. Last night it came again. This time I heard it clawing at my door. Upon inspection, the front of my door was nearly shredded, with deep grooves running down the base. I'm posting this here because I tried searching for something like this online, and not a single damn thing came up. I was hoping that one of you people might have something to tell me. Maybe a letter y'all found, or a story passed down through your family. Please, try to get information about whatever this is to me as fast as possible, as I fear this may be my last night alive. Unlike Douglas, I don't have a huge supernatural ally at my disposal. If you're reading this, avoid my house at all costs if I never update this again. And please, for the love of all things holy, do not go into that swamp. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this week's story. If you did, you know what to do. Take that like button and put it in a lobster trap, and then put the lobster trap underwater for like a year, and then a year later just come and yank it out to just rip it off and just destroy it completely. Shout out to the author of this story, a Reddit user. Okay, I'm just gonna say, alright, I know it's not this, but it's spelled like penismonky. Penismonky. I'm not gonna say what you want me to say, author, okay? Just link down below if you want to check out more of their work, because there is more to check out, and I really enjoyed this one. Thank you for giving me an excuse to use my southern drawl, which is pretty much the only voice I have in my inventory at this point. So, feel free to roast me down below if it sucked. Until next time, everybody, remember to stay safe out there. I'll be seeing you in the next video.